Oh, okay, got it.
I don't think it's his son-in-law because he doesn't have a daughter. He just has boys. So I think it's his nephew. He's a super guy.
Oh, this?
Yes.
Oh, this?
Beautiful.
Everyone has liked that.
It's nice. That's just a light nice.
You know, Marky's good at stuff like that. And the dog is feeling better, so that makes me feel
Do you guys see the note?
Oh my
You know
God.
how I feel. I don't even know what happened, but it works for me. Woo, how well.
Okay, I'm gonna do the countdown.
Oh, wait. I was supposed to touch that.
Just read. Just read.
Okay.
Read's good. So I'm gonna count down from 5. Take it away at 1. Move on. 5, 4, 3. 4, 3, 2. Welcome to ILTACON Tuesday. We are live here on the floor of our business partner hall. We have 4,400 people in attendance at the largest and so far best ILTACON ever. I'm joined by 3 beauties. I'm playing the role of Beast, and we're going to get to know each other just a little bit well. ILTA is the trusted global resource community for legal technologists. Now we're going to start off with an easy question. The first one, which one of you is Joy?
She is.
This young lady right there.
That would be me.
Now we're going to pivot to Dawn. So Dawn, in one sentence, how would you describe your job?
I am the chaos coordinator.
Chaos coordinator.
How's that? Or the chief experience officer, making sure that you have a great experience with ILTA.
Can I blend those and make you the chief chaos coordinator?
That works too.
All right. Now, Janice, you're the newest member of the team. Is
I
that correct?
am.
All
I
right.
am.
Now, I'm going to double dog dare you to correct me if I get any of this wrong.
Okay.
So your life has been amazingly easy. Opportunities have been given to you. Doors have been held open, and you just sort of coasted the whole way. Did I get any of that wrong?
All of it.
Okay, would you please tell me why?
Nothing came easy. The road was never straight. It's been very windy, and you have to fight for everything that you get. Yes.
Okay, and now this is a little bit of a tough question. Just want to give you a heads up.
Okay.
Are you having to fight it over?
Absolutely not.
And why is that?
We really focus on the 3 C's. We focus on community. We focus on connection, and when we do that really well, we're able to create amazing content.
Gotcha. And does it feel genuine to you?
It feels 100% authentic.
And how long did it take for you to feel genuinely a part of all of it?
Oh my gosh, my journey started before it was ever called ILTA, back when I was 19 years old. So for a
Okay.
very long time.
And you were doing what when you were 19?
I was a secretary.
You went from secretary to what you are right now. And by the way, what is your role?
I'm the VP of content here at
The
ILTA.
VP of Content Creation. Now, I have the opinion that that's an important role.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you do with it?
We do everything from publications, like this one here, all the way to working with all of our communities and helping them professionally develop and create some of the most amazing peer-driven content.
Okay. Now, you pointed to this book. Does
Yes.
anybody know anything about the book?
Love it.
Will you tell us, Jim?
Well, I would rather hear it from the people that actually made the book.
Well, Lessons in Leadership, which actually came out today as a book launch, ILTA's first book launch, which I think is pretty good considering it's our 45th anniversary, so it's kind of important, right? But it's a collection of leadership stories from our ILTANs, from some of our business partners, even from our staff members, like the 2 that are flanking me right now. And it's inspiring. There's some really great stories in there. I think anybody who reads it's going to be able to take something away and add it to their life and say, yeah, it either validates something that they already feel, or it's going to inspire them to do more and be more.
Wow. And how hard was it to get the book made?
The physical part of getting the book made was easy. Getting everyone's photos and their contracts and their stories, that was a little bit more wrangling.
Okay. Let the record state that the executor of chaos did a great job of herding cats to make this fabulous book come together.
Amazing.
I'm gonna give some kudos to my staff for
Please do.
helping in that. But Sarah
Humble
Grace Johnson was pretty instrumental in that. She did great.
All right, so Joy, I asked which one of you was first, and that was you. Okay, so I'm coming back to you.
Yeah.
Now, I read your story in the book. You said you're tall. You said you got long arms. You said you're built for hugs. Okay, so I'm going to agree with all that. I'm curious how you developed the super skill of recognizing excellent talent and building a wonderful team.
Well, that I've done, not by accident. You know, part of it is it starts with you can see someone in another role and see how they carry themselves. You see how they interact with others and think that person is an ILTAN, right? They will fit with us. You see a level of energy, and that's even in an interview. Is someone come into it energetic or not energetic? Are they engaged? Are they not engaged? You know, I kind of take the skills part as being table stakes, right? They know how to do certain things, but you have to have that intangible quality to be really effective here. So I look for, you used the term earlier today, Jim, sparkle. I look for sparkle. I look for energy. I look for commitment, and I look for people who are willing to engage, because working with a group of volunteers all the time is one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do, but it's very different. People will ask me, Joy, how big is your staff? And I said, well, it's 40 or 440, depending on how you look at it. Getting work done in conjunction with people who have day jobs takes special qualities. These 2 have it in spades.
Wow,
Thank
that's a
you.
powerful statement. Congratulations, ladies. And I've got a follow-up question for you, Joy. Now, I've noticed, and you put it in your book, that you like to give hugs.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, you've given me 1 or 2 over the years.
Yeah.
I have to say that they've been performance-enhancing hugs. I mean, that's the secret sauce here at ILTA. You're the only CEO that I've ever interacted with that genuinely cares at like a molecular level with everybody that you interact with. And that is the superpower. How did you learn to care?
I think from my parents.
Wow.
I think it's the care you get, right? And then I think, you want to have some fun, I do too, but there's a serious part here. I think it also comes from being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
When you become a parent, you love people in a way that is impossible to imagine until you become a parent. And I'm about to become a grandparent. I understand that's a whole different level. But the thing is, I think also for me, I'm wired to see the good in people first. And so everybody has something to love. Although I will say there was one partner in my old law firm that every time I would interact with him, I would say to myself, his mother loves him. His mother loves him.
Gotcha. So coming back to you, Janice. So you said you started your career as a secretary, 19 years old. Okay. So let's see. As you approach 30 and you're now VP at ILTA, how do you translate your past real world experience into effectively communicating with people who are at different points along their journey?
I'm thirsty for technology. I've always had that thirst. And so being able to translate that and help my team also be thirsty, it changes how you interact with people. It changes your why, and it creates a level of purpose that just requires you to always try and be your best. And so I think that is one of the things that we really try and work with our volunteers on. Try to be more, do more, and put yourself in positions where you're working on things so that when you get that opportunity, you are very well prepared to step in with greatness.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Don, coming back to you, I'm curious. So you've been with ILTA now for about 6 years.
Coming up on 8.
You've been with ILTA for 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a little different now than it was then.
It is.
There was a middle part of the journey where it was really different. Okay. When you are walking around and you're thinking of how can we do it even better, what are some of the thoughts? What are some of the processes? You're a very creative person. How do you focus that energy? What do you focus upon? How do you execute upon that?
So every year that we do this is different. Every year, even if we think all things are equal, it never is. And so we try to focus on what happened the year before, how we can make tweaks and changes to make that experience better. Look at the market, see how the market is shifting and changing. And also what are the needs of the ILTAs? So if ILTAns have certain needs, what can we do differently in order to focus a little differently in order to make that happen? Just as this conference, right? We have some new technology features that we're working on. This right here is a perfect example of that. We have some leadership aspects that we're doing a little bit differently. Our opening keynote was a little different. We didn't bring in somebody on technology on that one. We were speaking to the person, the source of the soul, because we have noticed that is something that we kind of need right now, right? We have too many people who are working tirelessly and not doing self-care, and we need to make sure that in order to bring our best selves to the game, we have to start with ourselves first. So I think Brian Campbell was a great way to start the week out. And of course, ILTAs really like to have a good time. So we've added a lot of fun attributes this time too. So it's actually been really great. So yeah.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you for bringing your A game.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So Joy, one thing that I'd also like to explore, because a lot of people don't know this, there's at least 3 parts to the ILTA triangle. And sometimes I think there's, it's like a 4-sided triangle.
Yeah.
All right. There's clearly there's members like me.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the ILTA staff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And something that we don't talk a lot about are all of our business sponsors. And I would like to hear your thoughts on the criticality of that triangle working.
Well, let's start with, I think a lot of people see when they're at ILTACON, they see the exhibitors here. We're in the exhibit hall. They see that piece of it. They don't see the year-round commitment that our business partners have to us of providing content, delivering local meetings, going to our smaller events, sponsoring those, speaking at those. But one of the things we added several years ago was the opportunity for our business partners to volunteer. So we have business partners on the ILTACON committee, on the Evolve committee, on the councils. They're serving as mentors. So they're much more enmeshed in the ILTA community. So it feels more like not 3, but 1. because of the way all three groups work together. So even the staff provide content on leadership, other topics. Everybody pitches in to stuff bags and put lanyards on badges. You know, there's very little distinction once you get into the work of delivering what we deliver among the three.
Now I'm going to throw this question out to the table. One of the things that I'm picking up and I believe in is that if you want to be a part of ILTA, you can.
You betcha.
So when we're talking about inclusivity and we're talking about equity, what does that mean to you and how do we propagate that?
I mean, I always like to think of us as welcoming. You know, I want anyone who is engaging with ILTA for the first time to feel first and foremost welcome. We are so happy you are here. How can we help you? And then people want to jump in and help themselves, also be of assistance. So I think for me, inclusivity is about welcoming everyone. And that's everyone. And if we do that, great things will happen.
I'll jump in on that. So one of the things that I think is a little different for ILTA versus other associations and organizations is our mentor program. And that spills over into other aspects. So like when you came to orientation, we had people actively talking about make sure you look for that light blue ribbon on the badges. Make sure you talk to those first timers. It changes their experience. It changes how they see ILTA. It gets them involved almost immediately. And then we actually see how our volunteer rates start increasing too, because they get into that secret sauce. And the secret sauce is just the people. And it's the authenticity.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people, this to me is very rewarding. Every year will come up to me and say, I don't know if you remember me, but you welcomed me the first time I came to an ILTACON and I never forgot it. And now I do XYZ. Wow.
That's awesome. Janice, are you having some of those moments too?
All the time. I mean, my entire career, how I've grown as a human, a lot of it collectively happens within the ILTA organization. You walk in and you just feel so welcome, and it gives you the courage to try. It gives you the courage to be inquisitive. It gives you the courage to ask the questions and then raise your hand. And the first time you raise your hand and you do something and you complete the task, it's addictive. And then you just want to come back. And then other people see you start to mature. They see you grow. They see you engaging in different things. And then they want to participate. They want to be a part of the party. So that's really what it's like here.
That's awesome. In the spirit of inclusivity, one of the things that ILTA has recently embarked upon in a really big way is making the I in international capitalized. Yep. Okay, so we've had success with our lovely friends over in the United Kingdom, but rumor has it ILTA's gone to Brazil, ILTA's gone to Australia, ILTA, I think recently went to Italy. What have you learned from that? How do you try something? How do you blend cultures? While it's all ILTA, it's all different. I mean, what's the challenges around all that?
I'm going to ask Dawn to take that one first and I'll jump in.
The first thing I would say is it's all legal technology and it's all people. So we already speak a common language, no matter what the language difference happens to be. And we've not even had that as an issue, really. So this year we have done Sao Paulo, Brazil, had a great event there. We've gone to Costa Rica. We've been in Milan. We've been in Madrid. We have been in London. We will be in Germany and in Edinburgh and in Dublin and in Copenhagen, all across Canada coming up. So we're taking the message out there. And the events that are taking place this week, the education, we are curating that information into key summaries and points to where we can take ILTACON back to them. For those who choose to take August as a vacation, I don't blame them, I would too. But they take the whole month off, or maybe they're just not able to come. So we're going to come back to them. And hopefully by doing this, they kind of see the special sauce and they want to be a part of it. We start expanding our volunteerism. We start expanding the education. They see the value in that. And then we just continue growing ILTA until we've literally wrapped ourselves right back around where we started from.
Gotcha.
And we try to have local representatives, agents, if you will, that can help us understand the culture.
Yep.
And they're as simple as things like, oh, we don't do breakfast meetings in Milan. You know, you'll never get anyone to a 7:30 meeting. Okay, good. That's good to know. Or in Madrid, we did a dinner that started
9 p.m. It's over at 1 a.m.
but that's when they eat dinner. I mean, if it had been up to Dawn and me, we would have scheduled it at 6 and they would have thought we were out of our minds. So just having someone there to tell us what that little local tweak is makes
big.
an enormous difference. And a lot of those people learn about us here at ILTACON. They may come for the first time and say, I want to bring this back to Sao Paulo.
Yep.
I want to bring this back to Costa Rica. I want to bring this back to Milan. And Milan was particularly interesting. We've done a couple of events in Milan, but our big event we did in May, we partnered with an organization called Cosmonauts. It's a for-profit events company. They're here. They handled, because they had boots on the ground there, which we did not have. So they handled all the logistics. We designed all the content, and we had 500 people over a 2-day event in Milan. That was fabulous.
What a good challenge. What a good challenge. All right, so I'm getting the sign to wrap things up. I've got 2 questions. Now, the first of which is the ILTA experience doesn't end at the end of this week. What's next?
Wow. Well, it depends on what you're doing with your day, because we have an entire website. We have a new application called My ILTA that you can download on your phone that will connect you back to all the events that we have going on in your own hometown.
And you can listen to all our podcasts.
You can listen to all of our podcasts like this one, which won't be showing today, but it'll pop up later on. We have, there's webinars that happen all the time. We have a whole road show going on in September, then one in October. We have volunteer meetings. We have ILTACON Europe coming up in November, and we'll be doing a little road show post that as well. And there's rumors that we may even be in Argentina before the year is out. So if you want to get involved, if you want to get involved, like, there's a place for you. If you need a community, there's one for you. If you need a mentor, there's one for you. We have something for everyone here, and it doesn't matter where you are on the continent. It doesn't matter where you are on the level of your journey in your role. You have a place at ILTA.
And one of the things I have to add here, a lot of people aren't aware that our membership is entity based. So Jim's at Fenwick and West. For what the dues is, anyone from Fenwick can participate.
Absolutely.
The mentoring program is free. The webinars are free. The podcasts are free. Many of our events are free or very low cost. We have a really interesting event coming up in December, which is designed for IT directors and CIOs to work with heads of information governance together in the same room across 3 time zones with workshops. There'll be a virtual component. I mean, it's exciting. And you've got a million pieces of digital education coming up.
Absolutely. We have all of our members can write, they can submit their articles. We have the peer-to-peer that's coming out. We have our ILTA Pulse website that's now available. It's available right in front of the firewall, and individuals can submit articles there as well and work with our content teams in creating content. So wherever they want. We have
And be on the lookout. One of our marquee publications is due out in just a few weeks, the ILTA Tech Survey.
Ooh, that's always a good one.
One of our biggest
Yes.
launches of the year. We're doing a session on it here at ILTACON. We had nearly 600 firms participate. It's a fabulous resource.
That's
and
really
just a plug, if you participate, you get it for free. Participate next year, please.
Absolutely. All right, Janice, my last question to you, and then I'm going to follow up with one for Joy. It's a hot mic. You're a successful woman at a pivotal point in time in a credible organization. And I want to hear what you are awesome at. What is your superpower? What do you bring to the game?
I am awesome at finding individuals that have passion and making them great and being able to create content, but more importantly, having the confidence in themselves to make connections, to create a pathway for themselves.
I would drop the mic, but I'd get yelled at. That's an awesome answer.
Thank you.
Joy, you've been CEO now for 6 years.
Well, like Dawn, almost 8.
Almost 8. All right. 6, 8.
Whatever it
details.
is. It's
Yeah.
their even
It's
number.
been a moment. you've been there and you've gotten a few t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back over the last 8 years, what are you most proud of?
Oh, I'm proud of who we are. I'm proud of our culture. I mean, it was funny because in the G100 meeting yesterday, our chair, Jay Noggle, stood up and said, all of our firms compete with each other, yet in this room we're friends. Like, that's it, right?
Yeah.
It's that sense that a rising tide raises all boats. Whatever it is, we have a lot of issues in common. We help each other. No one thinks twice about it. And along the way, Jim, as you say, we have a little fun.
We have a little bit of fun. Alrighty, folks, we're going to wrap up this wonderful podcast. I'd like to thank ILTA for having the opportunity to participate. Janice, I respect you. Don, I respect you. Joy, I respect you. On behalf of all of the members that are here at ILTA, thank you for helping make all of this happen. And whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. It's working.
Thank you, Jim.
Go ILTA. Thank you very much.
long blonde hair hanging from his ear. Got it.
What were the
Thank you.
questions?
Noted.
She'll tell us now.
You just ask us a question. We just answer. Yeah.
Since when do you need to know the questions ahead of time?
Good morning. Welcome to the inaugural ILTACON live from the Gaylord National Harbor. My name is Kira Portwood. I'm joined today by Joy Heath Rush, Tony McKenna, and Jason Dirks. So I thought we would talk about board service. This is something that's near and dear to my heart. All four of us have done it throughout our course of our careers. Joy, clearly you're the CEO. How does board service actually work with your role, and what is your interaction with the board?
Yeah, it's really interesting for me having been on the board, and you kind of make that switch. So I am a full member of the board, except that I don't vote. I'm involved in all deliberations, but part of what I bring is the continuity from board to board. Because Carrie, you're just finishing up 6 years of service, and we're not going to talk about that too much because it will make us cry. But the staff component is the one that continues. So I often play the role of historian. I often have the background of an issue, and I also help the board kind of administratively organize the agendas, figure out how to sequence the material, put the collateral materials together. It's actually a really fun marriage of a lot of different things.
Great. And Tony McKenna, you are the current president. Let's talk a little bit about your presidency. What are the things that you feel like were successes during the course of your term?
Thanks, Cara. Yeah, like Joy just said there, but now it's this whole, it's bringing a whole bunch of different things together, things that you thought about whilst you were in the very early stages of your volunteer career. Through that career, as you develop in all the different aspects that you've done on program councils, the things you do in the jurisdiction you're in. I'm in Europe, so we do a lot of things slightly different. And then you bring that into a room where you can actually affect change and steer the direction of the organization that you feel so passionate about. So there are a lot of little things that you do that you learn, which are the administration aspects of the running a large organization and being accountable, because there's nobody outside the room. You know, the people who are in that room, the board members, they are and we are accountable for everything. So there's no one else to ask. But that side of it, that's fun and you learn. But the whole side of it, being able to affect that change that you've wanted to do, or those frustrations. And if you're somebody like me who talks to everybody, so me and Joy, we talk to everybody. Yeah.
No.
But
You know you're surprised by that.
That's right.
you gather so much feedback over the years, and being able to sort of nudge things along and make those little changes to bring more success to our members and our business partners. That's the big thing about board service.
And Jason, you're the next incoming board president. What are you most
Don't
looking
keep
for?
reminding him, Kara.
You'll
You
be
have
great.
been a dear colleague whenever I was on the board, and certainly we are very much looking forward to you into this role. What are the things you're looking forward to?
Yeah, good question. So I think they fall into kind of two buckets. I think I'm looking forward to continuing to take forward things that we started during this last term. Things like getting sort of more energy behind the local experience and more things stood up both internationally and here in North America. And then also I think we have some unique challenges, maybe not unique, but we have challenges that are going to be sort of specific to this board. The strategic plan runs through 2026. So that's our charge as the board to sort of figure out what's next after that strategic plan. So that's going to be another kind of big challenge for us starting in 2 days.
Great. Yeah, believe it or not, it's
I'm sure
here.
Tony has a countdown app on his phone.
Yeah,
Or-
it's a countdown to a lot of tears, but I think, honestly, I think that one of the best things about the change in the election process, it's actually driven a whole bunch of different people who with different experiences to come into the board And I think Jason's board is probably going to be one of the youngest for a while. With
Are you
some
saying
of the,
we're old?
sorry, Cara, yeah. You know, we're
Great, thanks,
We're
we're
John.
at
not
a more
me.
mature end of our career, but I think that young element is going to really help us with things like local experience and things like the Young Persons Task Force and emerging talent and things like that. I think they've got great things to work on.
Absolutely. Both of you have mentioned the local experience. Talk about the SIGs in the UK, Tony, and what's worked so well over there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we're really proud of it. It's an initiative that we started in sort of 2016-17 around saying how can we bring together people around the discipline that they all want to talk about in the local area. So something that's you can reach really easy, you can meet with your peers and have conversations that are affecting you day to day. And it was something that really took off pretty quickly in Europe. And the great thing is they're almost self-sustaining because they don't happen for one day a month. They actually happen every day. They come together once a month, but they have WhatsApp groups and network conversations and emails, and they have that constant dialogue. So maybe 20 or 30 people get together once a month around that practice area, whether that's business analysis and PM, or that's education or security, or we've got a CIO SIG that started up just this year. But that community talk constantly. And so the community is way bigger than just the maybe 10 or 20 people that can make it that month. So the local experience task force have been working with that, gathering that data. And they're looking at sort of implementing some of that sort of stuff here in North America. And I think that will be amazing for it.
Absolutely. So we did set up a local experience task force. Jason, do you want to talk a little bit about that? And I'm happy to ask Joy a little bit more about that as well.
Sure. Yeah. So when Tony was talking about the SIGs, it reminded me earlier this weekend, I was having a conversation with Joe Davis, who's one of the co-chairs of the local experience task force. And he was explaining one of the challenges that we've been trying to tackle with local experience is Tony kind of alluded to this, but different people want different things, right? And so Joe was talking about how he had a conversation with somebody that in their region, they don't have a problem driving 2 hours to go to something that's worthwhile just because that they're used to that where they live. Whereas he and I were talking, I live in Chicago, he lives in New York. I wouldn't drive 2 hours for something, but if it's close, if it's in the city, if it's convenient, I'll go.
You'd be in
So
New York.
that's right, or up in Canada. But I think that's part of the challenge. But as Tony mentioned also, I've started to realize that local experience is sort of part and parcel to a bigger thing that makes ILTA, which is our building our community, the strength of our community. And that's community at sort of the most basic level. And so we've got to get that right to continue to build and strengthen the thing that's fundamental to ILTA as an organization.
Right.
And I think that, obviously a lot changed through the pandemic and afterwards. People were working from home more. They weren't commuting into a major city every day. There also was a time where ILTA was reasonably prescriptive about the local experience. It had to look like this. Part of what the task force came back with is it doesn't need to look like anything. It needs to be driven by what those local people want. They may want to get together based on topic and not just the fact that they're all in Columbus, Ohio, or that they're all in Toronto. They may want to do something social. They may want to do something educational. Some areas like breakfast, some like lunch. I mean, there doesn't have to be a one size fits all. And we are prepared as an organization to commit both the staff and volunteer resources to letting local people figure out what the ILTA experience looks like for them.
One of the things that is there are two tangible demonstrations of success for me around this. One is when one of my team comes back with a challenging problem and they've said, I've spoken to someone from this organization or that organization, and this is what they're doing. That's instantaneous. That's feedback that happens. I might have a problem at 9 a.m. and by 10 a.m. I've got 3 of my peers already telling me what they've done, what they've seen, or they're in the same boat.
It's the power of ILTA,
It
right?
is that if you're having if you see a Microsoft issue that's affecting, globally or European wide, you get people explaining to you what they're doing. And what, things like comms, we all know that comms is really important to our colleagues. When you can get another person doing your role in a firm down the street, helping you think about how you do that, it really encourages you.
The other aspect to this that we've talked a lot about that hasn't always been part of the equation is also engaging the business partners more deeply to understand at a local level, what do they want to get out of it? What would work better for them? So that when we're thinking about how to serve everybody, we're thinking about everybody in the ILTA community, not just members, not just business partners, but sort of finding that common ground that where we can offer services that benefit everybody.
I agree. The second trigger of success that we've started to see, particularly over the last year, 18 months in Europe, is you're getting people joining virtually from all over the world. And you're thinking, but these are about local experience, but actually local experience is not geographically bound. It's about the experience that they want to have. As Joyce says, the organization is ready to take that challenge and make it happen, particularly here in North America.
It's having the ILTA experience where you are. And that can happen in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely. And people who join these special interest groups from other parts of Europe and even further afield, they do have offices in London. So when they come to London, they've already got a network of people. So they might only be there for 2 or 3 days to do something specific in their office, but they've got someone else to go for dinner, catch a coffee with, have a session and just chat, which is the ILTA experience. It's just really bringing that local feeling to life. It's pretty incredible, actually.
Right. Well, local experience was certainly where I actually became involved into ILTA, and I was incredibly passionate about making sure that we got that back up. The other key point that I think both of you mentioned was the young professionals. Let's talk about how important they are to the future and what we've done to actually engage with them as well. So, Jason, I'll let you start on this one.
Sure. So Tony mentioned something in the opening session this week already that stemmed out of a conversation he and I had when we were walking back and forth between meetings, which was we're actually very proud of the engagement that we already have with young professionals in the organization. And I think that was demonstrated through the board spun up a young professionals task force this last term to engage those folks more deeply and understand specifically what can we do better to engage all of you. What are some of the things that maybe are blockers or hurdles or adding friction to the system? And that group was full of amazing volunteers and amazing young professionals who were super engaged and delivered some of the better work that we've seen. Out of that, we've got a lot of initiatives kind of throughout the volunteer organization that are going to tweak and change the way that we do things in a way that is hopefully more resonant with young professionals. And then they are continuing in the organization, so that group is going to stay as a permanent fixture and continue to have a voice going forward.
One of the best things, and I couldn't agree more with Jason, but one of the best things is we see it in reality. We've got some pretty young talent joining the board. As we said earlier, we're getting to the tail end of our career. But when you look at the age and the demographic of the new board, I think that's really exciting. One of the first things that the emerging talent, the young professionals brought, which has been it's been a thing I've wanted to do for a long time, is we've got a mobile app coming. Because that group really expressed that as their number one thing that they said was really important to engage that community and indeed the broader community. So that accelerated that to the top of our program of initiatives that Corey Simpson's running with the
ILTA Technology Committee.
Technology Committee, and with that group focused down on that, we've got a soft launch here at ILTACON, and that will only grow arms and legs. things. And for me, I think that's just one thing that's been ticked really quickly, which really makes me happy because I've been looking for a mobile app for a long while.
Enjoy. Talk about some of the technology initiatives that are going on too within the organization.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about that. And in the first few years that I was on board, I know it was frustrating to a lot of our members and business partners who did not see as much change in the front end, but there was a lot of transformation that needed to happen on the back end to make that possible. I know none of you listening understand that, right? Because you all deal with that every day. We had to change what we call our association management system, which is what accepts payments, allows you to register, all of those things, to a more modern platform with more integrations to support the stuff that we wanted to do. So we are about to embark on a complete redesign of our website. But even prior to that, we've introduced significantly improved findability, as I call it, capabilities. We have a new feature on our website that I would love you to look at called ILTA Pulse, which is kind of a newsletter that's refreshed all the time that has content, information about our volunteers. The mobile app is, of course, super exciting to all of us. We actually are doing, we've done the soft launch. We have an official launch happening later this week. And initially, what you will be able to do, back to local experience, one of the first two major functionalities is to say, I'm in DC for the next 2 weeks. What's going on there? Maybe I'm based in San Diego, but I'm spending 2 weeks in DC, or I can see what's happening in San Diego all the time. The second thing is our podcasts will all be available to listen to through the mobile app, which we're very excited about. I've already had people saying, what are the next 18 priorities? And our tech committee will help.
That never
Will help
happens
with
either.
that. No, it's not in your day jobs either, right? It absolutely doesn't.
And the technology, speaking of that, the technology committee, that was something that was spun up from the current board too. So Jason, do you want to take that one a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So I think the idea behind that group was to provide a bit more support to Corey, who you mentioned, and the staff, just in terms of we're all technology professionals in our day jobs, and there's a lot that we can offer the staff in terms of our expertise, the things that we go through, and help them to shape the technology roadmap and the priorities. So we've got voices from the board that are there to help sort of shape it from a board priority standpoint. But then we've got other folks from the broader ILTA community that come in and offer their experience in terms of how they run projects or how they approach particular technologies. So I think it's added a lot of value for Corey and the staff in terms of just having a sounding board there to run initiatives by people, or when they run into problems, or just even helping them sort of understand how we would approach it as professionals.
And I'll say, Jason, one of the key components of the current strategic plan is something we refer to as structured listening and responding. The Young Professionals Task Force, Local Experience Task, those are instantiated ways of listening and responding. There's also a really important piece of that in the technology committee. They offer expertise from their day jobs, but also the staff doesn't, I mean, I used to be a member, but that was a long time ago. We can look and say, hey, we think the priorities ought to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the technology committee says, no, you need to flip that on its head. They know what the members are asking for and need. So it's not only making the project execution better, it makes sure we're working on the right stuff. Because one of the phrases people will hear me say is, I don't care how hard you're working to trim trees, if what I need you to do is plant flowers. We have to figure out what those top priorities should be.
Without a shadow of doubt, I think it's a model that we use. We don't really realize, but when we brought the tech committee, and that was just like replicating the ILTACON committee. So we've got a committee of volunteers that help our wonderful team led by Dawn to build a brilliant conference. We've built brilliant conferences. We've got involved, we've got ILTACON Europe, we've got ILTACON here. Taking that model and saying, why don't we apply that to the same things like tech change? Yeah.
Or finance.
You brought me there, yeah.
Yeah.
Our APIC guys and girls who sit in the background but support the staff, and particularly Joy, in managing and prioritising their financial spend. And we're now doing that with our tech, and it's really working very well. It's a really good model, and it's a well-trodden path for ILTA.
I'm gonna kind of go back to board service real quick, okay? Tony, you are basically your term ends on Thursday after the annual meeting. Talk about how that feels. Talk about what you would recommend or say to anybody that was considering board service.
Yeah, it's been one of the most toughest decisions of my life to step back from leading this fabulous organisation. It's a point in time in my life I've got so much going on outside of ILTA and outside of my day-to-day job with my family. I've got 2 grandchildren. Everybody knows that in the whole world because I tell them all. And me and my amazing wife, we've bought a new property and we're going to invest a lot of heart and soul into that for the next 20, 30 years of our life. So something had to give. And unfortunately, at this moment in time, traveling back and forward to the US 5, 6 times a year is the thing that had to give. And the most important thing for me around board service is the commitment. You know, you're all in and you have to be all in. This is a serious role that has serious consequences if you do it half-heartedly, because there is only 7 volunteers on that board plus Joy and some support around that. And if you take one of them out or they do it half-heartedly, then you're going to feel that your colleagues are going to feel that. So if anybody wants to do board duty, it is without doubt the best volunteer opportunity. However, it comes with a very different level of commitment, a very different level of accountability, and I would, any Eltons out there in the community who are thinking about board duty, come and talk to us, and we can talk to you about all the fabulous things you do, with a level of commitment, and just that the way that it sort of really impacts on your day-to-day life. I've said that my family, my friends, my firm have been amazing to me over the last 4 or 5 years. They've allowed me this amazing journey. And you have to recognise that you will make compromise decisions on all of those amazing things. So, but it isn't it. I can't express how brilliant.
I think it's an honor and a privilege to serve as a board member. And I can't say enough good things about serving with this group of people around the table today. Every lesson, every conversation leads to a lesson that you may not necessarily have thought about. Jason, what would you tell someone who is thinking about joining for a board service?
Yeah, I agree with Tony. It is a big commitment, but it's also very rewarding.
Absolutely.
And it is so on sort of a number of different levels. And as I think about it and sort of reflect on it, there's things as simple as learning how to sort of be measured and very precise with your language, because we only get so much time as a volunteer board to meet and deal with big issues, but we have to get through those issues. So we only have 30 minutes, an hour, and it's a meaty thing. And so you've got to be very careful about sort of what you're saying, whether it needs to be said, so you can get to the heart of it and move on. So there's that. That's sort of at a tactical level. But then you also learn how to be an ambassador to an organization. You get to work with really smart, fantastic people. Tony mentioned this earlier, but you get to deal with large issues that help to sort of nudge the organization in hopefully positive directions. And so it's rewarding sort of all the way up and down. And I think it really transforms you as a professional to do this work.
And Joy, do you want to add anything?
Well, I think if I could summarize it, board service is an honorary. I think there are some organizations where it's more of an honorary role. That's not true here.
No, it's work.
And I mean, I take seriously, very seriously, the fact that we're an organization where 40 people in 3 countries pay their mortgages and buy their groceries. And we serve 25,000 members in more than 30 countries who need help doing their day jobs and being more effective. It's not a club. We managed to have a little fun because that's part of our culture. But these are big rock
We have
issues.
to find joy
Yes.
Right.
in more ways
I
than one.
have to tell you, I told Ryan yesterday, I said, do you know what you're setting me up for this week? I'm just saying. People walk up to me and say, I discovered you.
The 30th time you've
For
heard that.
people who were not, no, it's not, but our keynote yesterday did a thing on discovering joy. I said, no, you're not. You're really not. Anyway, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying this to scare. I'm saying also, you get, I mean, when I was about Jason's age, now I'm not anymore, when I joined the board, and I was a senior manager at a big firm, but I hadn't dealt with the level of issues that I dealt with on the board. I learned so much that I then took back to my day job and helped me progress. So, and it is also a lifelong friendships. I can't.
Absolutely. When you work with those people so closely on, as Joy says, those issues, but also those opportunities, because you have the opportunity to shape the organization, which impacts not just those 25,000, but the legal community.
It totally does.
The
Yep.
direction of travel for the legal profession. You know, technology is so at the heart of everything that happens in law firms these days. And this community outfit really does shape the direction of travel. I firmly believe that. And sitting at the top table and being a part of that top table, it's an absolute privilege and an honor.
Jason just likes to know what's happening in the background. We've had that conversation. I had no idea that all this stuff was happening in the background.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, I think we are probably getting called to wind it down, but sincerely, thank you. It's been a privilege to have the opportunity to sit down with all 3 of you and serve alongside you two.
And
Friends.
I can't imagine anyone better to ask us about board service than someone who has served with such deep passion and commitment and kindness for
It
6
wasn't
years.
supposed to be about me. It was supposed to be
No,
about
You're part of
So-
this team, Carl. You've been amazing.
Absolutely.
6 years, some of the hardest and best 6 years of Outfit's existence. You know, you're talking 2019 to 2025. That's a hard 6 years.
Oh, there was a pandemic in there, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
I didn't
forgot
realize
about
that.
Forgot all
Was it?
about it.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Thank
thanks
you.
everyone for joining and thank you,
Thank you,
3.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Well done. Okay, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Barbara. It is so good to see you, and it's my honor to be interviewing you today for ILTA. So, tell me a bit about yourself.
Oh, I have so much to say, but yeah. So I'm a lawyer from Brazil. I work at RMS Advogados. I'm currently director of operations, so I'm in charge of all the lawyers. We work with mass litigation cases, so we have 400 lawyers. It's been quite a journey, but also we work on my end with AI and legal operations and a bunch of fancy stuff. And regarding ILTA, I've been a member since 2019. And it's my 7th ILTACON, so it's been quite a ride.
I mean, that's amazing. This is my first ILTACON, as you are aware, is because we know each other well.
Yeah.
And I am already enjoying this experience so much, and I can see how much value this brings. So, coming for your 7th time must be quite a good experience for you too.
Definitely.
So, how does one get involved with ILTA?
Especially coming from international,
Yeah.
you are both not in the US, so people
Yes.
might think that you have to be in the US or closer to the US to engage. So something that came to my attention when I first became a member for this, to see the conference, to see new technologies, to see how I could be a better professional for my firm. And it struck me that when I arrived here, I found out that ILTA is led by volunteers. So it's really is a volunteer-led organization. So it takes all of us to create content, to make this happen. They have wonderful staff, but they rely on the members and the volunteers to make things happen. So I came thinking about gaining something by learning, and then I found out that I could have a voice and that I could learn skills that I couldn't learn on my day job, and it was really amazing. So Jean from the membership staff and the member part of ILTA. So she said that I could volunteer, and then I started volunteer with. I said there's an online place that you can fill with your volunteer. You know more than me because you are in charge of the volunteer committee. So
yes,
yeah. But since I'm not talking to you.
No,
I'm talking to
yeah, exactly.
you know it already, and you did the drill yourself. But I filled the form to become a volunteer, and then when opportunities came, I got interviews, and then I volunteered first with the content teams.
Okay, so tell us about the content team. So what would you do for them?
So the content teams, we create year-round content for ILTA community. So some people might think that ILTA is ILTACON, but it's not. So we have. While we're speaking here, there are people that are producing content. There's content being delivered through the ILTA's website, ILTA's podcasts, ILTA's publications. We even got a book today produced by ILTA, and we can talk about it.
Definitely need to talk about the book.
Yeah,
we're very proud of that.
Yeah, and so the CCT, we get together. It's a year term. So we got together in the beginning of the year, prepare content for the 4 quarters, and then we invite speakers and we invite writers. And it's so amazing because it gives you a credential to reach out to people that you're interested in learning more or roles that you get inspired about. Mm-hmm. And then you're not just you're competing from someone you want to talk to. You are someone from ILTA that want to reach out to produce content, to deliver information for a bigger community, to get more info. So it's really good. It made me feel more confident. It made me work on my many skills that I didn't even know that I had. So it was really good.
I think the benefit of those content creators is really enables ILTA to deliver knowledge to their peers.
Yeah.
And I've found that is one of the best things about being a member of ILTA is that sort of peer-to-peer support. All the communities that you can be part of. Even today I'm going to a lunch with one of the communities that I'm a member of, which allows me to speak to my peers from across the globe who maybe have already done things that I'm looking to do, and they provide me with that knowledge. So, that's one of the best things about ILTA.
Yeah, and in many aspects, because sometimes
people are experiencing problems and they get to see different perspectives from other firms, from different size firms, from different countries, and we get feedback for the vendors as well. They can produce better technology for us, so the whole industry benefits from it. It's something that makes us better. Then we can learn in so many ways. So it's really enriching.
That's great. So tell me about other roles that you have done as well. So that you started in the content creation.
Yeah.
So what else have you done?
I've written for some publications. We had the peer-to-peer magazine, so anyone can write. You don't have to be in an actual role to do. I spoke at some capabilities, and it was really good. There are some small-term, bite-sized volunteering opportunities, so people don't know how much time they have to commit. So it's really good, like reviewing some documents, or we have AI for many things, but you need the human part of things to check and to make the curation of many things. So after the CCT, I got tapped on the shoulder to volunteer for the Talent Council, and it's the governance side of things of ILTA. It's my second term with the Talent Council now. We work with the board election process, inviting people who are members of those organizations to think about becoming the future leaders of the organization. So helping people with the volunteer committee to develop themselves throughout the organizations and become leaders of their own groups, of their own volunteer teams. And so that everybody know that in the end of the day, any of us can be board members, president, vice president, treasurer. So if anyone wants to, we the Talent Council, that's my current role, we can help people navigate that process and get content or volunteer in roles that might be better for that volunteer position, or learn different skills. So it's really good. In the end of the day, it's more than technology. This is the thing that I talk about ILTA, because we have tech conferences and you have tech groups everywhere in the world. You have local gatherings with your firm or your industry. But when you come here, it expands you in a way that you get to learn new things in capabilities that you didn't even know that you had.
Yeah.
So, and you do that by volunteering and helping the community. So it's really good.
How do you think that's helped shape you for your current role that you're in?
In so many ways. So one thing that I enjoy the most, so it's my 7th ILTACON. Now I am a buddy, because we have the buddy program. So when we are a veteran and then you get a first time, because we're helping each other in kind of a way.
We absolutely are.
But saying that this is not a marathon, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and how you can do everything in day one because you're going to pace yourself, and many other tips that we have to go through this whole experience. So my first ILTACON, I had the best buddy that I could ask for. She's here working on the vendor side of things now, Kathy Valentine. And she helped me so much before coming to prepare for this, because it's a whole new world. So you come from a different country. The language is a barrier for me, still is a bit, but it was even more. And coming here and seeing people get interested in what I had to say and what I was doing, it made me feel more confident. And Kathy was a big part of it, because she kept introducing me to people, and people got interested. And then it gave me confidence to pursuing new responsibilities. And the leadership sessions are amazing. We had one session yesterday about overcoming fear and stepping up to do different things. So that's what I said. It's much more than a tech conference. Yes, you will learn about AI, but you'll know about human intelligence, human emotions. The first keynote was amazing. It was all about finding joy and pursuing joy for yourself. So it was really good. So it made me, to your question, it made me feel more confident in pursuing new things. And one motto that I've been trying to do is be brave enough to suck at something new.
That's brilliant.
Because the first time you do things, you're not doing it. I was nervous even for coming here and talking to you. You made me feel really relaxed, because you're amazing. But so it's not going to be the best first time, but you get better. So doing these things, stepping up for roles and for conferences and for discussions made me realize of the path that I was going through, made me have some ideas, made me connect to other people, like-minded people that were going through some things in their lives. So yeah, it shapes you. It makes you feel a different human. I feel different from the first time that I came.
Absolutely.
Really good.
It really is amazing. And I know that you have been a wonderful mentor to some people.
Oh.
So tell us about the My Mentor scheme with ILTA.
That's another amazing thing that you have at ILTA. We have, because we are ILTA, right?
Yes.
So we have this amazing mentorship program. I was with the first one as a mentee.
Yeah.
Evan Shigman was my mentor. Amazing. He helped me a lot to think about my role, my volunteer capabilities as well. And last year, I applied again to be either a mentor or a mentee, because why not? And I was chosen as a mentor, and I was really nervous because coming from Brazil, I came with that idea that people wouldn't, from America or from the UK, wouldn't have a mentor from my part of the world. I don't know. And then I got the most amazing message from one of the mentees that became a sister in life. We're here together,
Yes.
and I got to meet you because of her.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
And it's Melissa Ballesteros, and it was really nice. It was a really, really transformative experience for both of us, because she came to me like with one. She spoke Portuguese, so she wanted to learn the language, and she wanted to some different things with her role, and we kind of expanded that to doing things in other parts of our lives. And we became good friends. So I truly recommend that you do it, but you go wholeheartedly, even as a mentor or as a mentee, and be open to learn. Because I say for sure that I learned more than what I ever could possibly teach her or help her. So
which I think is amazing. And even being a mentor, you get so much out of it. You know, seeing that person grow obviously is the ultimate reason why you would do something like that. But actually, getting stuff that you learn as well is just twofold, right? It's just brilliant.
And you've been there too, so you know what I'm talking about.
Both sides. It's been fantastic.
And some people don't know it, so it's a free program that anyone in your firm or your organization can be part of. So so this year I had someone from my firm doing it, and she's in the marketing part of my firm. And she's amazed. She didn't know, and she's amazed of how ILTA is. So even if you're not here, you get the ILTA experience. You know that what ILTA is all about. And we build community from whatever you are in the world. So it's really
which is amazing, right? And I think that kind of leads me on to my next part. That as you said, you're from Brazil and South America, and this is a growing region for where ILTA would like to get more and more people involved. So tell me a bit about what's happening with legal tech within Brazil at the moment, and how you think that ILTA can support that, and how you think that members from Brazil or from South America can get involved more.
So one thing that I can say, so it's a huge market. We're the biggest market in South America, Latin America. We have huge business going on. It's a different legal system. So we're talking about how different it is. The Brazilian system is one of the most backlogged systems in the world. We have more law schools than the rest of the world combined.
Oh, wow. I never knew that. That's so interesting.
I made my first presentation here in the US. I gave a brief overview of the Brazilian market. And I don't know the numbers right now, but for sure we still have more law schools because of the way of the education system runs and everything. But we have a backlog. We have more lawyers per person than in the rest of the world. We have more than 1.3 million lawyers in Brazil. As of, and it's growing number. So active 1.3 or more than 1.3 million. And so we have a huge market in legal. We have a lot of tech companies. We have the language barrier, so it's something that we discuss a lot with ILTA, because ILTA is international. A lot of the vendors produce only content in English, so it's hard to get involved. You might think that it's hard to get involved coming from a country where you need different technologies, but ILTA helps a lot. Not only gathering people. the thing about ILTA is the way the ILTA community shares. So we had an event in Brazil. I was there when Rita Standarski was there with John, went to Brazil, the chief experience officer at ILTA, and we gathered at a law firm in São Paulo in Brazil. We had people from the US and from Brazil to speak. We had a panel, for example, for AI, and a lawyer from my firm presented, Leticia, her name.
Excellent.
Yeah, and presented use cases of what we're doing there. And it was nice to see that not only, just like the My Mentor program, not only we can benefit from ILTA, but ILTA community can benefit from what we're doing there,
Yes.
with the problems we're tackling there. So it's a two-way street. So the
Yes.
good thing about ILTA is ILTA doesn't get there and say, I know stuff, I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's share. Are you using, for example, Kara? She's in the board of ILTA. She made a presentation about Copilot.
Yes.
And she gave very actionable advice on how to use it and playbooks and everything. So anyone can benefit from it, from whatever
Absolutely.
language you're talking.
Yeah.
So the way ILTA approaches things, it's a way that people get to learn. They get actionable advice. So no matter where you are in the world, of course you have, if you don't speak English, it's going to be harder.
Yes.
But ILTA, it's produce very accessible content. We have content in all other languages.
Yeah.
I happen to know that we did have some podcast delivery in Portuguese in the past for the content teams.
Yeah.
So the more volunteers we have from other part of the world, more content we can have in other languages or directed to different realities. But ILTA is getting more local events all over the globe, so we can get people with the ILTA mindset in the local community. It's amazing. The more I learn about ILTA, the more I get in love with it, the more I get passionate about it, and I want to spread the word, like you should know about it, your firm should do it. And yeah,
It's very similar to how I feel about spreading the word within the UK, from where I'm from. Being myself part of ILTA and helping with the volunteering for three or so years now. It's just everything about the organisation, the support, the peer support, the other volunteers, the true passion that everyone has for this organisation. It's just unbelievable, and you can see it like in everybody you meet.
And one funny thing is, you can, for example, I might know you here, and it's possible that if we meet in another conference that is not ILTA related, we'll behave differently because it requires the environment requires a different way of doing things. Here we have tattoos.
I know.
We dress up as pirates and we prioritize joy. But I've been to other conferences with people that I admire at the ILTA community speaking in conferences that they don't deliver the deepness of content that we get here. So it's a cultural thing that, it makes us flourish. It makes us want to share things. So it's unbelievable, the value that you get from this community.
Oh, that's amazing, Barbara. Thank you so much. I just have one last question for you. What's one piece of advice that you would give someone in South America who wants to get involved with ILTA?
Yeah, step up, write emails, ask. So there might not be something like, if you are from South America, click here, do this, or we can make you special benefits. But if you want to get involved, if your firm is a different size from the member community, and I'm saying that without consent of the ILTA, but I know that they can make things happen for you. They can find ways of having a local event, not only in South America, but in any part of the world, even in the US.
Yes.
So because what I realized, and it was before the pandemic, I thought, okay, I'm from Brazil. These people gather together like in New York or in Chicago or whatever. And how am I going to engage with them? And I realized back then, before Zoom was a thing, before many things were like the technology that we have now for working remotely was in place, people would engage through Zoom conferences and conference calls. And my content team calls were already online. So it prepared me even for the pandemic because I was getting involvement and I was getting used to this technology way before people were doing it. My English sometimes is not very good. And so it's really interesting. So you can reach out. ILTA will find a way. They'll talk to some people and find ways to make you involved. So if you want to know more about it, if you want to make your firm get more involved, if you want to have more firms together, we can think of ways together because it's volunteer led. So we can, as human, as people who got involved in the first place, we want to get more people involved. So you find ways together to make it happen. You just need to want to do it wholeheartedly, and things will work out.
Barbara, thank you so much. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you.
you know we're actually going to be live, and then maybe just check in with you once in a while, and I'll wrap up.
Okay. You ready to see how we sound here, Ryan?
You're already
So-
live. You're already live. Ready to go?
Ready to go?
You ready to go?
I am ready
All right,
to go.
let's do it. Well, good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. I am Josh Smith here at the live ILTACON Live, the inaugural ILTACON Live here at the 45th anniversary of ILTA. From the Gaylord National Harbor, I am Josh Smith, and I'm here today with our special guest, Melanie Prevost. Melanie, introduce yourself and tell us where you work and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Melanie Prevost, Senior Director of Infrastructure and Technology Support Services at Vincent & Elkins. I work out of Houston, Texas, and I have been volunteering with ILTA for over 18 years.
That is an amazing span of time. 18 years, that's longer than I've almost had a professional career. But that's awesome that you've been involved so much. What's the value of being a longtime member like that? What do you get out of those 18 years of service to the community?
I tell you, I was really thinking about that this morning. In 24 hours, I have had the ability to meet my lifelong friends, reconnect, re-engage, meet new people. Also sit at the table with entrepreneurs who have startups, new companies that are growing immensely. Just that experience alone, it's what energizes me and it's what keeps me going. And I've gotten that experience for all 18 years. Every year it gets better and better. And so, yeah, I have to be here. Right.
I do too. I mean, the value that you get from serving others and providing feedback, but then being in almost 4,500 people, a massive crowd. I was sitting in the breakfast area this morning and I was looking around, and no matter what time period it was, I saw at least 5 or 6 people I knew. So there's the networking opportunities are infinite. So over those 18 years, how have things kind of grown and changed at ILTA for you, and even at ILTACON?
You know, I think the technology has changed. When I'm one of these people, I call myself, I'm in infrastructure, so back office. And I've seen that evolve. When I first started, there were lots of topics, lots of things that evolved around servers and telecom and things of the like.
Right. Back in the LawNet days, I bet, right? Okay.
And things have definitely changed. It's more about software, of course, generative and agentic AI, data and information governance. And so the topics have changed. And I think that's really what resonates with me. The people are the same. That energy remains the same. I was just telling Sarah Grace, it's, we're huggers,
Right.
and just that sense of community, that continues to resonate with everyone. And it's something I think everyone looks forward to.
I agree. I think it's almost like a family reunion every year, right?
It
You come in,
is.
you meet up with the people that you know, but then your family grows every time you're here and you meet new people. It's just an amazing experience. You mentioned generative AI. So where are you on the uptake of Gen AI? I've got to ask the question since, we're here and kind of in the middle of some of the AI business partners. What is your thoughts on generative AI, and how are you using it if you are at all? And what are your general thoughts around the technology?
It's evolving and it's changed. And when you're, at that intersection of when things change, you definitely don't want to be, outside of that change arc. So we're doing what everyone else is doing. We're using several tools. We've done pilots. We're working with our attorneys in our practice groups very specifically so that we can really engage with them and what they need, really talking about how it helps with productivity. Also really engaging and talking about the security concerns,
Right.
The validity that, there are hallucinations.
Make sure there's no hallucinations,
that they
right?
understand, what we're working with. I use it every day.
Awesome.
Every day.
Awesome.
And it has enhanced the ability for me to be more productive.
Right. I agree. And there's kind of I think the initial fear of it taking people's jobs is a little unfounded. I think there's going to be a workforce shift to have the skills to be able to use it to be more productive. But I don't think we're going to eliminate, a bunch of legal tech jobs. Just don't think that's going to happen. So let's talk about your volunteer roles at ILTA. What all committees and roles have you served in your time here?
Well, I started out as a local, I think it was member liaison is what it's called
Member
today,
liaison,
for Houston, big city of Houston. And I did that for several years. I'm wanting to say like 7 to 10 years. And then I moved on to RCT, which was the coordinator of those roles. And I ended up having all of the Southeast Territory. So Texas, Louisiana, all the way over to Florida.
Right.
At the same time, I was tapped to join Women Who Lead. And so I was just really, that women and technology is a passion of mine.
That's a fantastic group. Every year, I'll tell you, every year at the conference that used to be called Legal Sec has been renamed to Evolve or reimagined as Evolve, embracing security and AI. And I think it's the second mornings or the third morning's breakfast is always Women Who Lead breakfast. And I love going in there. So it's for women who lead and the men who support the women who lead, right? So that's a favorite breakfast of mine.
Oh my gosh, allyship is so important. And so it's just great to have everybody at the table just to exchange those ideas. But yes, I've done Women Who Lead, and I was co-chair for a couple of years. And now I'm working on the leadership CCT. So I work providing content for leadership and development topics. And just recently, we tapped Women in Security into its own sort of advisory group. So we're working with the committee now to figure out where we land. Women in Security was started by Women Who Lead. So Michelle Gossmeyer and I, when we were co-chairs, we started this initiative. And we've been working on it. So when you mentioned the breakfast, yes, I've been involved with the breakfast for the last 5 years. We've got a fantastic skills matrix that we worked on that we've been presenting.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to launching that with the Women in Security's website very soon.
Right. I just got out of a session that Michelle kind of told some stories in a strategy and thought leadership session with Carl Larson from Novus Global. It was just a great session. Michelle is a fantastic resource. I'm glad you mentioned her. Let's see what else is on the agenda for today. So if there's someone that's kind of listening today and they aren't a member of ILTA, or they are a member of ILTA and haven't gotten to come to an ILTACON yet, what's your advice for them? What do you think they should how should they jump in and get involved?
I think you just should jump in. I mean, it's just an immense area of people to just really get information. One of the things that I was also thinking about this morning was the amount of feedback that I get from my peers. So I can actually benchmark what I'm doing against what they're doing. And then, as we share, it's a two-way street.
Right.
So I would challenge everyone, jump in, meet new people, figure out where your passion is, because I guarantee you there is some, segment of the population of the community that idea, that passion, coincides with, that you can get involved.
I agree. And I think you mentioned the local experience committee, and I think that's, post-COVID, that's coming back in kind of a big way, or I think it's planned to be coming back. I think that's really important because some of the people that can't always come to an ILTACON, how do you reach them without, bringing them to an event, right? So you go to them, you go to the community, and I think ILTA's doing a really great job of starting that. So I think the local experience is fantastic to get everybody involved. Maybe have like a firm champion, right? To say, because I've had people in my firm at Ogletree like, what? Or we're members of ILTA. I'm a member of ILTA. I'm like, yeah, the firm is a member. That means you're a member. You have all these resources. Some of our business people in accounting, accounts receivable, and budgeting. Like, oh yeah, there's an Adderant community group. Like I can hop into that and I can get those resources. I'm like, yeah, it's all provided with the membership. So a lot of people don't really realize the benefits of even just being a member, right?
Exactly. And a lot of the local events sort of changed when we went through COVID.
Right.
But you're right. We're making a comeback. I actually had a conversation at the orientation with Kraft Kennedy, and I volunteered my office. I said, hey, listen, I'm happy to come in and host, but we're wanting to make sure that we offer hybrid events as well. We want to offer content that makes sense. So we're going to be surveying our members to determine, What do you really want to see? What are you willing to come in person to see, so that we can make sure that it works not only for the membership but for the sponsors. And then we're going to be offering some virtual sessions as well.
That sounds exciting. I would definitely love to participate in those virtual sessions. Also, kind of towards the southeast. I know you said you're in Houston. The Charlotte, Atlanta, Greenville, southeast area is really important to me too. So I've, through my director Gary Berger, we have an office in Charlotte. We've got a great office in Atlanta. We've got a great office, 2 offices in Greenville with our administrative team. Let's come do something there. So hopefully we'll get something in the works.
Yes.
Let's shift a little bit and talk about what we're doing day-to-day work. So you're in security. I'm, manager of GRC. I came from operational security at Clemson, 4 or 5 years ago now that I've been at Ogletree. What are your biggest threats and risks that you're seeing in security today? I know we have a latest threats panel with Gary Berger moderating, David Carnes, Terrence Jackson, I think from Microsoft will be there, and Sula Bablandia from Kraft Kennedy is also participating on that panel. So what are you kind of seeing as latest threats in security in your area?
Well, I'll tell you, my group intersects with our information security team. So that's where my security experience comes from. But I'm really traditionally in infrastructure. So my big projects nowadays really are, we're making a shift, moving more assets into the cloud. So we're
To the cloud.
yeah.
Yep.
So we're shrinking our on-prem footprint and moving as much as we can.
And you're not the only firm doing that, I can tell you. And I feel like I've always thought about our transition from thoughts about generative AI to practical uses of generative AI, the same that we've had the cloud strategy, right? Like we're thinking about moving to the cloud, but we're kind of afraid to, but it's, this is slower adoption. But I think the Gen AI curve is a little bit faster because we've been kind of forced into it by either our attorneys at the firm or, those around us that are already using it. We have the fear of missing out, right? That FOMO. But I think it's a really, great strategy always to plan it out and do it accurately. But yeah, moving to the cloud and getting rid of those on-prem resources that can sometimes be better protected by a cloud provider, right? You hope that it is, and that's what we kind of work towards.
Yes.
That's great. Do you have any other final thoughts as your time here? With the second day of the exhibit hall being open, it's fantastic energy in here. I think they've moved lunch next door, so everyone's down here. Any final thoughts for us today before we wrap up?
You're right. The exhibit hall, the vendors that are here, there's so many options. And so that's another mention that I would make. If you're considering in the future coming to ILTACON, it's a great place to come and meet vendors of technology, services, and they're all in one spot. It's very convenient.
It is.
As you said, lunch is right next door. So educational sessions, vendors, you can't go wrong.
You can't. I've even scheduled some meetings. So I run our governance, risk, and compliance team at Ogletree. So I have to do some vendor vetting, third-party risk management, but some of the people that we're talking to were here. So let me set up an in-person meeting so I don't have to do this virtually. And you kind of really get to meet, face-to-face, those people that you work with, you see on Teams or Zoom all the time.
Yeah.
It's a really great opportunity to do that.
It is. There's nothing like seeing people face-to-face.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll wrap us up before our next interview, but it's been a pleasure to talk to you and to meet you and get to know you. And thank you for being here at ILTACON.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.